Hello, everyone. Yet another exciting class. Okay, I hope your weekends are going fine. So okay, let me quickly share my screen. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Please let me know in the chat.
Is yet to come up. Is yet to come up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we fixed the header session. So the next thing we'll be doing is the main session, which I've written a comment for it. So I tried using comments so that no matter how big our code will become, you can easily know the where each of the styling started for different parts of our HTML. Okay, so that's why I'm using this header. So I just added a date, maybe to remind me of the day I wrote the code or something like that. So whatever you put in your session, in your comment, whatever you put in your comment doesn't display on the browser. So it's just for you or whoever has access to this, your code. Is the person that sees it. It's just for you to document some things in your code without the user seeing it. So yeah, we'll be styling the main part, which starts from here. And remember, the main part houses all the section tags, right? It houses all the section tags. So, but before we continue, let's do something on fonts, right? Okay. Okay. So we have this. So yeah, about the fonts. Earlier on, we did something on we did something on the fonts here. The font family, right? We did something on the font family. So we have other fonts related properties. Okay. Okay, let me add let's add the lower here. Okay. So we have a font size which is used to increase the font size. Where did I add that? That should be in okay, div1. So we have font size where we can use where we can increase our font size. So you can use pixels and the font size is very large. So you can make it to 30. Yeah, you can see 30. Why is it hiding? Because it has a height. Okay. So this is how big our font is. So depending on the size you want, you can reduce it to any size you want. Any size you want. And we also have font style, which you have them italic, just like in our Word document. So most of the things we do in our Word document, we can do that. We can do that with the font properties. We also have font weight. That is how thick the fonts can be, how thick it can be. Now it's very thick because we are using the weight of 700. Before that, we had the font looking like this. So if you add the weight, it becomes thick. Okay. Then we also have the font okay, the font variants, no? Okay. So we can see the effects here. When we use this font variant with a value of small caps. Okay, then we have line heights. We can add you can see what the line height does. Okay, so it just comes with a value, no pixel, just a value like this. You can see how apart the distance is. Okay. So yeah, that's what the line height does for you, right? So that's for fonts. So we can continue with our portfolio. So we are going to take care of this the main parts. Okay, so we go to our main parts. So now we have now, mind you, we have this main tag, okay? And we have this section with a class of main, okay? So now we are targeting this section, right? So how are we going to, what selector are we going to use? Let me see in the chat box. If you are to select this section now, which what is the selector we are going to use? We have a tag called main here and a class of main that's inside this section, and we want to target this main. This is the main we are using. So how do we select that in the CSS? Can someone just quickly tell us? We talked about selectors the last time now. Okay. Yeah, Sapuru. Sapuru, the one you are indicating is for IDs. Yes, that's for ID. But what you have here is a class. Okay. So yeah, Jimmy, we are selecting by the class. So that's the selector we are using. We are selecting by the class. Yes, exactly, Sapura. It's dots, not the pound sign. So we use dots main. So the dot main is our selector. Is we are selecting it by the class. Yes, yes, exactly, Michael. So now, first of all, we are going to change the position to a relative position. Okay. Now, what does position do? Positioning in CSS now, like is a way to position an element in CSS. Specify the type of positioning method for an element. Okay. We have about 5 positioning position values. We have the relative, we have the absolute, we have the static. This static now is the default position of every element. Then we have fixed position. Then we have sticky positioning. Okay. So position is yeah, the way we position elements in our HTML. Yes, exactly. We have sticky. Okay. So, okay, let me quickly go here. So now let's see how positioning works. Okay. We have the div one. We have four. Let's we have solid. Okay. So I'm trying to create I'm trying to style the 5 divs. Can you hear me? Please, let's all. Can you all mute? Godwin, can you mute your audio? Godwin and Ebere. Okay. So yeah, I'm trying to, yeah, we have the 5th div, yeah. Okay. The first one we have static. Static is like I said, is the default position of every element. Okay. So now, like you see on our browser now, this is the normal flow of elements here. You can see how these ones they are aligned like this. This is the normal flow of the elements. Can you all hear me, please? Let me know.
I can
Yes,
hear you.
we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. So this is the normal flow of elements. So when you put a position to be relative, okay, now you're removing that position from the normal flow, okay, and this relative comes with the position it comes with how you want it to be positioned. Now you're making it to be relative. We can do left to be okay, let's say 30 pixels. You can see this div2 is shifted out. Okay, let me increase to 50. You can see how shifted out it is, right? Now the relative, now what it does is this: it removes an element from the normal flow, right? When you Godwin, can you sorry about the noise. So when you position an element, okay, you can shift it the way you like. You can shift it from the left, top, right, or bottom, right? By using the property left, right, bottom, or top. Okay, once is positioned. So now this relative, what it does is it removes it from the normal flow, right? With the left now we used is shifting it out from the left by 100 pixels. You can see where it is now. That's for relative, like it makes it relative to the parent element here, which is now you have div. There's nothing. The parent element here is the body. Okay, so it's making it relative to the body, like making it the position to be relative to the body, right? You can see how shifted out it is here. But one thing is this: the space here is also retained. Nothing goes in. Let's see if we can shift it out very well. Okay, now you can see how far is being shifted out, and the space is still there. Okay, that's for relative positioning. Once you make an element positioned relatively, the space where it was moved from still stays like that. Like this element, the div3 doesn't cover up, right? So apart from left, we can use top. Okay, you can use top. You can see where it is now, because the top is 500. You can see where it is. If you reduce it to maybe 300, it comes here, right? Now, relative, now we are shifting the positioning relative to the body. And why this space is still here? Okay, that's for relative. Now, we have fixed. Okay, we have fixed. This if you make the position to be fixed, okay. This is div3. Okay, scroll down. Okay. Now see the issue we are having here now. We are making it fixed, right? And you can see where it is on top of the 4, right? Clinton, can you mute your audio, Clinton?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. So now the div3 now, because we made it to be fixed, right? It has gotten to this, is now on top of the div4 elements. Let me comment, or let me remove it. You can see where it's positioned originally. But if we make it to be fixed, it comes on top of the 4, right? Then how do you fix this? Now, the top is, when you make it fixed, it automatically gives the top a value. Remember, I used top and in the div2 here. So it gives the top a value. So all we have to do is to make the top to be 0, right? Okay, let's see. Okay. I'm using the position, right? Now it's position fixed. Now I'm using the corners now to like make it stay the place I want it to stay, right? So if I do 280, let me see where it will be. Okay, 270. Okay. So it's now at the place I want it to be, though it's covering the space for div2, right? But what does fixed positioning do for you? Now, when we scroll down now, you can see that that div3 is fixed there, right? It's fixed at that very position. It doesn't scroll with the screen while I'm scrolling, right? So if you make it to be fixed here, it stays here. I don't know if you're getting me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So that's for fixed now. Okay. Then we have the other one for absolute. Absolutes. Now the difference between absolutes. Okay, let me. Now, if I put this top to be 0 for the fixed, for this div3, when I put the position to be fixed, if I put the top to be 0, what I'm telling it is let there be no let it go to the edge from the parent elements, right? Remember we said the body is the parent element. The body now, because there's nothing housing the divs except the body, right? So if I make it to be top 0, it goes to the edge of the parent element, right? It goes to the edge of it. So when I put top, when I make the value of top to be 0, that we know this is where it's going to be, right? If I should scroll down, it stays there at that very point. At that very point, right? So when I position an element to be absolute. Now remember I told you I told you this is the normal flow. Now this, I've taken this out using the relative and adding a value to the left corner of the element, right? That's why it shifted out. Now, okay, let me undo so that you can see how the absolute works. So this is how they are lined up, the normal flow. And when I position this absolute, that's the div4. Okay, let me add it in div3 so that we'll see it very well. Absolute. Now you can see this, okay, let me add the left to be 500. You can see we have div2, div4, div5. Now div3 is supposed to be under div2, but because it's absolute, I remove it from the normal flow, and the space where it came out from will be covered, right? The elements below it, or the element after it, will take up the space where it came out from. So absolute is like maybe when just like let me say when we are having elections, you queue up to maybe cast your votes, right? So when you're in the queue, maybe you go out to ease yourself and somebody covers your space, right? So let's assume now you went out and that space was not covered, it's still left open like that. That's for relative positioning. But absolute, when you position an element absolute, it's been taken away from the normal flow here, and the space is being covered. Now, this gives you the absolute control of this element. You can position it anywhere you like, right? It gives you the absolute control because the space is being covered here now, right? So it gives you the control to position it anywhere you like using the left, the top. Yeah, top could be 200, right? So depending on how you want to fix it. Now if I make this to be 600, okay, and make the top to be, let's say 300, 100. So I want it to be in the same, Yeah, so now you can see where I'm placing it now. I've removed it from this, from the normal flow and positioned it here where I want it to be. You get, and the space is being covered. There's no kind of vacuum here, right? So I achieve that using this, right? When you don't give it, when you give it maybe the top a value of 0, now it goes to the top, right? It stays here now. So once you add it value, it shifts from the up downwards, right? When you're using the property of top, when you make it to be 20, it shifts further away from the top, right? So that's how the absolute positioning works. Now we've done static and absolute and fixed, right? So the next one now is the sticky. Now the sticky is a cool one, if you ask me. So we added the sticky in div 3, right? Which is the one with the orange. So it scrolls with the elements. Iguez, I don't really get your question. Can you make it more clear? So now sticky allows it, when you add a position and when you position an element to be sticky, it scrolls with the screen until it gets to the point where that screen ends. It becomes sticky.
My person code.
Okay. The sticky is not yet working. Okay. Left of practices. Sorry, excuse me. Okay. Okay, now it you can see when I'm scrolling, okay, I think I should add it in the div 1, so it makes more sense. So when I put the position sticky on the top to be 10 pixels, now if I scroll, it scrolls okay, I'll come back to your question. So it scrolls until it hits the viewport. Now, what do I mean by viewport? This is the viewport now we have, right? In your browser. From this line is the viewport we have, or the view height, rather, the view height. Like the place you can see in our, in our browser, from this very line of my menu, because my menu is covering it now, to this very line. So that's the viewport, view height. So if I should be scrolling down and it hits the view height of the parent element, it sticks. So it behaves like is a combination of the position of relative and fixed, right? Because once it gets to here, it becomes fixed. So that's how the sticky behaves, right? Okay, you guys, now the positioning, sorry. This positioning is kind of it's kind of the position method, right? The position property indicates the position method, right? Then this is used to align it the way you want, like put it the place you want it to be, if I can use that word. You positioned it to be fixed or absolute or relative. Then you want it to shift out from the top. You want it to shift out from the left. So you can see using that left and right makes you arrange it a particular place you want it to be, right? So the position is the method. It indicates the method, and using the top, left, right, bottom indicates how you move it. Yeah, I think that's the word, how you move it. No, an element will have one positioning method, right? An element will have one positioning method. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's move on to our fun part. So we are positioning this to be relative. Remember, we are styling this main section, right? So you want it to be positioned relative, and you want the width to be 100%. Now this 100% is taking the position of the section, the height of the section, right? Remember 100%, when I mean 100%, it's taking 100% of the parent elements, right? When I always say parent elements, this div now that is content, right? This section is a parent element, right? And this section, this main is the current parent element, is the parent or parent element, yeah. So that's how it works. So we want a width of 100%, which yeah, this is what we still have. Then the minimum height is 100 view height. Now, when I mean view height, like I explained before, the view height is yeah, the ones we see here. The view height. You can see my view height is from this very black line now, which is my navigation, to this scroll bar here. So that's the view height, the height you see, like the very height your screen captures at the point, right? So that's the view height. I gave it 100 view height. Before that, we can see this about me in our view height. And we gave it 100 view height, which is this. Now this mean height now, what the mean height means is that even if if the view height, no matter how resizable it is, it will not go below this 100 view height, right? Maybe if you try to resize your screen, you get, if you try to resize your screen, it will not be below this. So this only takes effect when the screen is resized to be below this. So even if it is below 100 view height, it should also be, it will be having this value, this mean height here. So it's different from height, okay? The mean height takes effect only when the screen maybe resolution goes below the view height, right? So it maintains the 100, even if it goes below. So it will not be below that. That's what the mean height. We also have a mean width. So that's what they do. And here you want it to display flex. We talked about the display flex. Talked about display flex in our last class. I want to align items to the center, right? So yeah, you can see it moved to the center. When I align items to the center, it aligns vertically. That's at the straight line vertically. So it's centered vertically now. So yeah, then we have something in CSS called background, the CSS background, right? Now we have, if you want to add an image, now this is how we added image in our HTML, right? This is how we add images using the image tag in our HTML, right? We added, images like this. Now for you to add a background image, we use CSS, we use the CSS to add a background image, right? So now we have, you can see we have background image, background color, background attachments, which is fixed, background position, background repeat, background size, yeah. And we have a shorthand of background. So this background is a shorthand where you can add these values to it instead of writing it one after the other, right? So yeah, let's use the shorthand first. You can also combine the shorthand with other background values, which we'll be doing now. So for you to add image from the CSS, right? You can either use the background image or the shorthand background with this URL. Then you add the image location. Now we have our images in a folder, right? So we first of all acknowledge that folder. The / is kind of entering into a folder. So use the / to enter inside the folder. So we have two folders here. So the one we are going to enter is the images. Now it has files inside it, which is the files we see here. So let's choose this, right? Then we want it to have no repeats. Let's see if it is showing. Okay, so we have a background image now. How is it a background image? You can see our text. Our text is here, right? Our text is here. So the image is like at the background of this text. Okay. So let me try this image. Okay. So now you can see the images are repeating here, right? They are being repeated. So it comes with a, this comes as a result of the background image. So one way to make it not to repeat is to add the no repeat value. So it becomes 1, but the image is small in size to cover up the background, right? It's small to cover up the background. So you can also add the property of background size. So this background size, we give it a value of cover. So when you add a value of cover, it covers the space where it's added, or it covers the elements, the size of that element. That's what the cover does. The size of the elements, right? So I'm trying to find the image I used. Let me see. Okay. So I will change this image to this, see how it looks. Oh yes, exactly. This is the image I'm looking for. So yeah. So the background cover makes it to cover the size of the elements where it's being added, right? Please, if you're following, let me see in the chat box, please.
Well, following, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Okay, ask.
The background, I don't know, how did the background fix into that particular space that's fixed into? So what if it exceeded not fixing into that place and it split out to other places? How does he know that is where exactly the background image should be?
Okay, now remember the selector we are using, that is the main, right? In our index, this is our main section, right? This is our main section. And before now, if you take the sections, you can see how different they are. This is the skill section, right? This is the about section, right? This is the services section. So now I'm adding it in the main section, right? Now this main section, I gave it a view height of 100, which is, let me comment the 100 out. You can see how short it has become. So the 100 I'm giving it now. Now this shows us what the view height does. You can see it's only the background I'm seeing now in the view, in my own view height, right? So this is my view height now. So this background is covering the view height. So the view height is the exact view you have at a particular point, right? If I remove the view height, now I'm seeing the about me section. in my view height now. So making it under view height, that's why it's stretching like this now, okay? And the image is going to be in the element where you added it, which is in the main section, That's why I added the background image, right? I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So yeah, we
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
okay.
Yeah, so you said the minimum height, that even if you change, let's say, screen size, that will remain, should I say, the same throughout. So I don't know. Most of us should have encountered this issue where if you go to a site, it's better to use it on your laptop than to use it on your phone. So I'm wondering if this minimum height is one of the ways you can use to solve such an issue. Because let's say if you open the site on your phone, everything is spaced properly, but if on your laptop, everything is spaced properly. But if you open it on your phone, everything feels jam-packed and it does not feel comfortable being used on the phone. So I don't know if the minimum height or if there's another method you can use to be fixing a problem like that.
Okay. That one you're saying now is different. It deals with media query, making your website or your project responsive to all screens, right? So that one now is different. This view height now is now even if you open this page on your phone, it should also show you like this, no matter how small it is, but you'll be seeing this home page first until you scroll up. Just like this now, if I should scroll up, I will see the other things, right? So the view height this should just show on your screen. Until you scroll down, you will see other things. The view height is the height of the things displaying in your screen at a particular time or at a particular point. The main section is what I'm seeing now in my on my screen now, right? So it's occupying the view height. That is from this point now my cursor is to this point, right? So that's the view height now.
Okay,
if I should remove the view height, which is 100, this is the default size. This is the default size of the section, right? Now in my view height now, I have two elements showing, which is this section, the main section, and the about me section. So the about me section is still showing in my view height, right? But I want this main section to occupy 100 of the view height, which occupies the screen at that particular point until I scroll down. So that's what the view height does. But what you're saying is some responsiveness, like so that the website will also show well in mobile phones or in any device you're using. So that one is some responsiveness, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, we go on with background position.
Hello, sorry, I have a question, please. Okay.
Okay.
That background, as in the background shortcut, okay? Can't we use the background shortcut for the background size and the background position at the same time too?
We can use it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you can use it here. You can use it, the shortcuts, adding the background size, background position, and background attachments, right? You can use it like that. So yeah, we have this now, right? Now we once we scroll now, okay, let me change this color to be white. Okay. So we have this. Then one thing we want to add is this. Now, please just observe. If we scroll now, everything scrolls up, both the image and the content, right? It scrolls up together, like everything moves together, right? So now, want to just add, yeah. This property, background attachments, right? So if you add it to fixed, when you scroll, I don't know if you observe something. It's as if the image is fixed and is not moving with other things, right? If I should remove, if I should comment it out, the image goes with everything. If I should add it, the image is as if it's fixed, right? So that's what background attachment with the value of fixed does for you. Okay, so we quickly go over to, we are still in the main section. So we do, now we are targeting the main, this content, right? So we are targeting, remember you have other class of contents. So, but we want to target the content inside the main. Yeah, so do a main dot content. Sorry, content. Right. Okay, Vincent, the background cover allows the images sometimes they repeat and they are not really covering the elements, like the element size. If you use a small image, you notice it very well. It doesn't cover the element size. If I should use the one of this. Okay, I'm coming, Victor. Okay, so the cover makes it to cover the size of the elements where the image is added, right? So if you use a smaller image, you can try it out on your own. When you use a smaller image as a background, it doesn't really cover the whole size of the element. So from when you use cover, it covers it. Yeah.
So then, sorry, sir. So in the
Yeah.
event that our image is larger than, what's it called, than the area we give to our main.
I can't really hear you. Can we unmute our? Can we unmute, please? Okay. Please, I continue with your question.
Yeah, so I was saying,
Yeah.
in the event that our image is bigger than the view height that than the view height, what code, is there any code or any keyword the size of?
Okay. If the image is big, you should also add this repeats, right? And add the cover. Yeah, should also add the repeats and the cover. So that way, even if it is repeating, right? If it is repeating, you should also not, this code should take care of it. And the background size of cover, it should cover the elements where it's being added. Okay. So you still add those ones, yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Please, okay, what if the image now, that this image that you added in this main container, what if it's bigger than the elements where you want to add it? Will this cover also bring it to the size of the element?
Yes, the repeat and no cover should do the job.
Okay.
Yeah. And Victor, yeah, you asked about are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, thank you. So Victor, the attachment is, like I said, without the attachment, it's just for it to kind of look sweet, right? Now, if I'm scrolling now, the image is moving at the same time with these elements here, or the text there. It moves directly, it moves same time with it, okay? Just to make it sweet and appealing to the user, that is going to use our website. So we just add a little, smoothness to it. So when I scroll, it's as if the content is scrolling without the image, right? It's as if the image is fixed there, which is what the background attachment does for us when we add it to the fixed. Okay, so that's what it does. I don't know if I answered your question, Victor. Okay. So yeah, we are to the content. So we add a max width. Of so like we said in the mean height, we also have max height and max width. Now this max is the opposite of mean, right? Okay, Chino. So okay, that's how the image is, and also I didn't add any color to it. I just added the image. That's how the image is. Though you can add a background color to your, to your images. Let me see if this one will work. Okay, it's not working here. Okay, the background. Okay. So, but yeah, that's how the image is. I didn't add any color to it. Okay, we'll get back to that. If there's a way we can fade our we can add background color to our image. Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
I got confused earlier when you used width 100%.
When I used what?
The width in the main selector class.
Okay.
Width the 100%.
This, okay. The width to be 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this 100% is now the parent elements of the main should be the main class. Now we selected it here with the class, so the main should be this now, right? So whatever the width of this main is, let's assume the width is 100 pixels, right? Then you want this main, which is the section, to take 100% of that width. If the width is let's say 50 pixels, we want this main the main section to have 100% of that 50 pixels. I don't know if you're getting me. So it should occupy the 100% width of each parent element or each parent size, right? If I should make this content to be 100%, now I'm telling this content to have 100% of the size of this section, right?
So it means that the main has default width.
Yes, the main section, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we are done with the main content. So yeah, we comment it out because I wanted us to see this thing here, text. So you have dot main dot content and the h2. Now yeah, the max width is when I explain this mean height, like is the opposite of mean is opposite of max now. So no matter how large your screen might be, the width will not exceed this, right? The width will not exceed this. You know, some of our laptop screens, we have 17 inches, we have 14 inches, right? We have, 14 inches, we have 15, we have 17. So it shouldn't exceed this 800 pixel, no matter how large your screen might be. So the maximum should be this. That's what this max width means. The maximum width it will have is this, no matter how the screen, how big it is. So yeah, like I said, it only takes effect when maybe your screen is bigger than 800 pixels. Then this will be the, to take up this value. So that's what it means. Now the H2 we are targeting is this H2 here, right? So we give it a color of white. Then font size of let's say 20 pixels. Okay. You have font width of 500. Okay. Then we are done with that too. We are now I can copy. Yeah, remember inside our S2 we have a span tag, right? So now we are getting the span with the tag name. I didn't give it any class. So we give it a font size. See. Okay. Then this div, I gave it a class of animated text. Yeah, that should be text. Please correct it if it's if there was a T missing in your class name. Please make the correction now. Should be animated text. So because that's the only place I use the class name animated text, so I can as well use it direct. I'll be forgiven if I use it direct. So it's always advised if you want to style an element, you can come and copy the class name so that you avoid typos in your CSS, right? You avoid typos because if you type it out by yourself, you might miss a letter. So you can always copy the class names. So you want the position to be relative. Okay. And the height, want to give it a height of 70 pixels. Yeah, I know, Jimmy. I can, yeah. Okay, let me. Okay, why I use the animated text like that is because it is the only place I used it. But yeah, I can. Dot main dot contents, right? So that's what we have, the main content and animated text, right? Okay. So let's tie the history of the animated text, which is history. Yeah, these are the histories. So you want to style them, give them a color. Now in colors, we have, you can write the colors by their name. And we have what we call the hexadecimal code for the colors. So they come with the hash sign and yeah, the code. This one is EFF. So with these hexadecimal codes now, you have kind of yeah, different color variants, right? Using the name of the color, which you have been using all this while, gives you one the primary colors, yeah. But you can just like you have the secondary colors where you can mix colors. So with these hexadecimal codes, you have different colors you can combine. You can look it up and see that we have a lot of them. We have a lot of them online. So we can also use them to color our contents. You can see we've colored this one now. Okay, let me the span, we are supposed to give it a font weight. Font weight for the span should be 600, right? Now we can use yeah, we can use what we call this 2em. It's also used for font sizes. Instead of using pixels, you can also use this one. They also have, if you check online, you will see the equivalent of it in pixels. The equivalent of it in pixels. So yeah. So yeah, it also tells you about it here. So the history, we have also font size here. So now see what's happening here now. This web design, web development, the content writer is on top of our icons, right? Is on top of our icons because we made the height to be 70. Now we shortened the height of, remember the animated text is the div housing the history, right? And because we shortened the height, it's no longer containing these ones. It's now overlapping to these ones, right? So now it's overflowing to this side. Remember we did overflowing, right? We did the overflow. So now for us to correct that, we have to add we have to hide the overflow. We have to hide the overflow. So we say overflow hidden. So you can see it's inside now, like it's hidden. We are only seeing this one, the first one. So we are only seeing the first one, which is the web design. So we've hidden the overflown part of it. Okay. So that's one way to do that. Then the font weights. We have 700. Yeah, 700. Then the line height. Remember we talked about line heights. Make it to be 70. Yes. You can see we are only seeing this one now, right? We're only seeing this one now because we've added the height in the line. So we also add letter spacing. Letter spacing spaces our letters. That's what it does. So I don't know if you are following. Are we following up to this point? Please let me know.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Prince, it's going to be done later. The responsiveness is going to be done later. Yeah, now to our favorite parts. So now there's one thing we are going to do now. That's one thing we are going to do now. Now, because I have histories here and I didn't give them classes, right? So there's a way I'm going to target them without the tag name and without the classes. Okay. So now I can copy this, paste here, and history. So now, here is what happens here. Now I want to target the history. That is the children of this animated text. The history is the child element for this, right? So this div is the parent element for this history. Now I'm targeting the history inside them now, inside the animated text, right? Now, because I have 3 of them, there are 3 brothers here, right? And yeah, by default, the web design is the first son, and the web developer is the second son, and the content writer is the third son, right? We don't know we don't know yet the child you are looking for, either the first child, the second child, or the third child, right? So we don't know yet the one we are looking for up until now. So inside this bracket is where you add the child you're looking for or the child you want to target. If you add 1, you're targeting the first child, right? If you add 2, you're targeting the second child, even if they are 10 in number with the same, even if this H3 is 10 in number, right? If you add 10 in this bracket, you'll be targeting the 10th child, right? That's the 10th child, the 10th H3. The 10th H3 inside the animated text div. I don't know if you understood my explanation for the nth child studio elements.
It's okay, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So now what we want to target is the first child, which is the web design. Now let's see the magic we could do with the first child. So now we want to give it an animation. Okay, we have a property called animation, right? Now this animation is a shorthand. It's a shorthand. We have okay, we have the animation name, we have the animation type. Okay. So using this shorthand now, we will be using this shorthand. First of all, your animation has to have a name. Just like in our PowerPoint, we normally have this fade in. Maybe when the text fade in, then within some seconds, it will kind of rotate. Then after rotation, it will kind of jump out, right? So maybe it has a fade in, rotate, and jump out. So now we have a similar thing in CSS. And we call our own animation, which is also what is called in PowerPoint. Yeah, we also call it animation here. Then we have a way of those fade in, rotate, and fade out. These are points like at a particular time, what should this thing do, right? So first of all, in animation, we give it a name of, let's say move, right? Then how many seconds should it last? Or how long should it last? The duration of the animation. Then you can add a number here, like this animation will happen 5 times. This animation will happen 6 times. This animation should happen once, right? But we don't want it to stop. That's why we have infinity, right? So now, this is the animation we want. Then this animation has from beginning to end. That is okay. Now here we use something called keyframe. Okay, the keyframes. Yes, Prince. Yes. So now the keyframes now is at what point do you want this animation to happen? Because without the points now, yeah, we don't know how the animation will not kind of display. right? So we need to write out the points or the particular point, yeah, whichever thing happens. Okay, now this keyframes is used for that. So with these keyframes, you type in the animation name, which is this move, right? The animation name, then the curly braces, right? Then the points I'm talking now, we have the two, right? Okay, sorry, the first one is from, then this one is two. Now this is from beginning to end, right? So from the beginning, what should happen to this element we are targeting, which is the H3? What should happen to it, right? What should happen to it? For instance, now let me use this one we are using before. Then okay. Then you have let me comment these ones out first. We have this animation. Okay, we have this. So if you add animation, and we add kind of spin, which is the animation name now. Say this CSS means 6 seconds, yeah. And then we say infinite, right? So if you come and add the keyframes. So instead of using two from and to, right? It's advised to use 0. It's advised to use the 0% to 100%. Okay, the 0% now is the starting point, right? Is the starting point. The starting point. Now, let me comment these ones out so we understand this. So now that's what we call HTML. All these similes we use and the icons we use, we also have it in HTML, right? You can add it in your HTML directly. So we use the and sign and the hash sign with the code. Okay. This gives us this, the time gives us the kind of the clock symbol, right? So at 0%, what do you want it to do? So we use this transform. Transform now is going to have a value of rotate. Okay. So we want it to start at 0 degrees. right? And at 100%, we should rotate then 360. Yeah. Right? So you can see how this is rotating now. You can see how it's rotating now. That's what the keyframes can help us do. You can see it's stopping at this point. It's stopping at this point, then starting again, going back. Okay. Now you can also add at 50%. What should they do? 50% now. Then 100%. What should we do? Okay. So now, this is the animation we want it to be. Then we are giving it a CSS rule here. At each point, what should that animation do? Or what should that, what animation should happen to it? Okay, that's where the keyframes comes in. It helps us to provide the points at which interval or points or time in the whole animation duration. At each point, what should happen, right? So now let's see in here now, let's see how we can achieve that. So here we are not using the from, we are using 0%. So the margin like the margin top now is you're giving it 0. The margin top, like I said, is adding a space, right? Adding a space on top of the element outside, right? So the margin top is what we are using now. Now it has a 0 margin top, which is at the default of it's using the default margin it originally has, right? So at 25%, I want it to change the margin top it has. The margin top should be minus. Remember, if you are using a positive number, right, it's going to add the margin on top, right? If you're using a positive number, or if you're using minus, it's going to minus 70 from the up, right? So we're going to use 70. Now, this is, if you minus 70 here now, it will go inside, right? If you give it a, this very first one, remember the element you are targeting is the first side. So if you give it a minus 70, it will minus the margin top of 70 from this. And when it minuses 70 from it, it will go inside. And what will happen if it goes inside? It will show the second border, right? It will show the second border. Okay, let's see. Okay. You see, it's showing the second border. Right? That's at 25% now. You can still see it You can still see it somehow. Okay. So that's at 25%. Now at 50%, what do you want to do with it? Jimmy said he can't see anything. Now, by default, what you have first is the web design, right, Jimmy? Then if you give it a minus of, a margin top of minus 70, this web design will go inside the element that is on top. If you give it it will go inside, and the second brother, which is the web developer, will show. This is the web developer, and that's the second brother, right? The third brother is the content writer. So if you give it a minus of 70, it will further put it inside. Remember, you gave it a default height, and we made the overflow to be hidden, right? Now let me remove the, let me see if I can remove the overflow. Let's see if it can, okay. Can you see it now? So I'm moving it inside, and this one is coming up. It's coming up. Now it's because we hid the overflow. That's why I see if it's appearing from beyond, because the overflow was hidden, right? So we are giving it a minus of 70, making it to go inside and showing the second brother. So that's what we are doing. So at 50, what we want to do is, make it go further inside, making it times 2. That's 140. If 70 can show the second brother, if you add another 70, we see the third brother, right? So that's the mathematics. So at 100, or rather at 75, okay, at 75, we are minusing 70 again from this one, which will make it to return to the second one, the second brother, right? At 100. We want it to return at 0. So we want it by at the start, it should be 0. 25%, it should have a margin top of minus 70, which will make it go inside. And we'll see the second brother here, which is the web developer. Then if 70 will bring up this web developer, the second brother. If you add it another 70, it should bring up the third brother, right? Which is what we did at the 50%, which is minus 140. Then once you return the second brother again from beyond, so we minus that 70 we added again to arrive at 70 again that we had here when we displayed the second brother. Then at 100%, that is the end of the animation, right? It should return to default of 0, which was showing the first son or their first brother at the initial start, right? That is how we came to have this. Please, I don't know if I'm making sense. Let me know in the chat box, please.
Oh, following, sir.
Okay. So this is an animation we got. At first, you might think it's JavaScript. Though JavaScript might do something like this, but yeah, we did it with the CSS. So that's the power of CSS. That's one of the powers of CSS. You can achieve a lot with it, right? So let's quickly style this button, yeah? These ones, let's quickly style them. So we have these .btl. So we could have main content on BTL. BTL. So add a color of yeah, like in the hexadecimal code, the white color is this, is F. It can be 6, like it's originally 6, right? But if you use 3, it will work. So we talk more on colors, maybe by next week. So we have background of yeah, the one we used. Okay. Font size, we have 1 here. Font weight, we have 600. It's to display. Now remember this display, I said you have yeah, we could have the block and inline and flex, right? So the inline block is it will display the elements as an inline block, like it have a bit of the both, the inline and the block. Okay. So we see padding 10 px. Then text transform should be uppercase. Then because it's a link, it's having an underline. So remember you use the text decoration of none to remove it. Then we add a letter spacing to it, 1 px. Then border radius. We've talked about border radius, right? Have you talked about border radius? Okay, the border radius is now we have this the square shapes or the rectangle shapes, like the edges are just straight, right? So we use the border radius to make it rounded. Just like this, right? So if you add it like 5, this is how it will look like, right? So the border radius is around the corners of your elements. That's what border radius does. Then I want to give it a margin top. Margin top of 30 pixels. So we shifted away from this. So this transition is how it appears when you reload. That's what the transition does. And it has a value of ease, ease in, ease out, easing out. This ease is it appears slowly, just like in our, I always make reference to PowerPoint. The ease allows the element to come in slowly, then speeds up. Then when it's ending or going out, it goes out slowly again. So the ease combines the slow and the fast and slow again, right? So the easing is only when it comes in, it comes in slowly, right? The ease out also is the opposite. It comes in with speed and goes out slowly, right? Then easing and out is is all slow throughout. So yeah, that's how it works. Okay. So yeah, and that's what we call okay, like I used studio elements. Studio elements now in CSS, like the name means or the studio class. Now the hover is a studio class. Like it doesn't exist in our HTML. It was not in existence before now, right? So we are creating it in CSS. So the studio means something that was not existing before, right? So we are creating this class now. There's nothing like hover in our HTML. So we are creating it in the CSS, attaching it to the button. So this hover, just like the word means, when you hover over the button, what should happen to it, right? Yeah, I want us to have a background change of orange. So I want when I hover over the button, it should give me an orange color, right? Orange background color. Let me change the color to white. This is also white. Remember, I told us color this with the contents, right? So if I hover, I have this. If I hover, right? Then let me see if I can add this. So we have let's say 3 seconds, right? Now you understand what the transition means. So maybe the 3 seconds is too slow. We can use 1 and see how it goes. Yeah. So that's what hover can do for us. Then let's also finish up the media icons, which is these ones we have here. The icons are inside the div called media icons. So you can have these media icons. Okay, we can have the main. Have the main content and the media icons. Please, Odilichuku, can you mute, please? Yeah, thank you. So we have this. With a margin top. Margin top of 50 pixels. Right? So yeah, we are shifting out the whole div from this, right? And the icons are inside the media icons div and inside a link tag. Okay, so we can target the anchor tags, that is the link tags. So we want to style the icons. So we change the color to, yeah, white. And the font size to be 25 pixels. I want to give it a margin right. Margin right of 30 pixels. 30 pixels, right? So we have this. Okay, just like this transition we have here now, these stylings, we have this transition now makes it kind of, okay, this is the delay, yeah, and this like I said, the ease, I explained the ease. So when we hover over this thing now, right, if you put it at 2 seconds, right, if you make this to be 2s, so it allows these things to be, let me see. Okay, for this transition, this is what you should be doing here, though. Yeah, the transition. This is what you should be doing in the button itself. So when you reload, it takes oh, this should be color. Sorry. It should be color, not color. Did you just see that now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what the transition does. When it appears or reloads, it delays with this time and shows these stuffs, right? So if we change to red, right? So yeah, that's what the transition does. Okay. So at least we've gotten our animation and our main section looking sweet, right? So I don't know if you followed up to this point, please let me see. Let me indicate in the chat section if you followed up to these points.
Follow, sir.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's great. So yeah. Yeah, the keyframes, you can use it for, like I said, now at every point, whatever style rule. Now, yeah, this is called a style rule, like the property and the value, like we are giving it a rule it should take, right? So you can call these style rules. When you give an element a style rule, so this is the rule we are giving this particular history for it to take. So yeah, I would like you to also explore other keyframes animations you can achieve. There are other animations you can achieve with these keyframes. Some people achieve a waving hand. Yeah, when you add an icon, right, of a hand or an emoji of a hand, you can make it to rotate from left to right and make it infinite. So it's as if it's waving. You get the idea, right? So you can use these keyframes to achieve a lot in CSS, a lot of animations. Okay, a lot of animations. Now we talked about, yeah, we've gone beyond our time for today. Yeah, I wanted to make sure we at least complete the main section. Okay, so now because we've completed this, other sections will not really look foreign to us because we'll still be using most of the properties we've used here and explained, right? So we'll be using most of them again. So yeah, we'll do just a little explanation, maybe if you've forgotten. But the properties we use in achieving the main section and the main section, we'll also be repeating it in other sections, right? Just using it differently and different values, right? So you shouldn't look foreign again. So what I want you to do is to go through them, the properties we used here. You should always change the values, edit them so that you see the effect it has on the browser. Then you know actually what this is really doing, right? And it can be, yes, when the values are altered or changed or modified, you can achieve a different result. So depending on your own choice, right? So now we talked about overflow. We talked about overflow, right? And I explained it, what overflow does, right? Now, first of all, I don't know if this thing is still overflowing here. Please let me know. If you have a scroll bar at the bottom of your web page, like my own here, let me see, indicate in the chat section. Okay, Clinton. So please, if your this thing is overflowing, let me know. If it is only on my screen is happening. Can you indicate if your own web page is overflowing to the right? This is what I mean by overflow. It's overflowing on the right here. So if your own is doing the same thing, indicate in the chat section. Can you all hear me? Or if your own is showing well, you can still indicate it's showing well.
I don't know if it's possible for any of them to share their screen to see what they've done so far.
Okay.
Yeah, that would make sense. Or maybe they can
Yeah.
screenshot and send on Slack channel.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, CJ and Vincent said your own is overflowing too. Now we talked about overflow, and we've used it. Where did you use it again? We used it yeah, we used it in the animated text, which is here, right? Then we used overflow. We have overflow Y and overflow X. Overflow Y and X, right? So the overflow is kind of a shorthand that deals with the Y and the X, right? So yeah, for your assignment, I want you to remove this overflow from this overflow. And I want you to remove the overflow in your own web page, right? The way it is now. You should remove the overflow. When you remove the overflow, this scroll button will be gone. Remaining only this one. This is the only one we should have here. So yeah, that's for the assignments. That's for the assignments. You remove the overflow from your web page. Now, one thing you should look out for is where you should add the overflow. So that should be a challenge you should solve, where you should add it, the overflow, right? And remove the overflow. I don't know if you guys heard me about the assignments.
We heard you, sir.
Okay.
I heard you, sir.
Okay, thank you. We'll be communicating that later in the Slack channel, Sopro. So please, if there's any question pertaining our class today, please. If there is any question or something I need to explain further.
I have a question, but it has to do with our last class.
Okay.
So in the form, when we're doing forms, we had the action tag. And you say the action tag determines where the data that the user inputs will go. So
Yeah.
I was wondering, does it have to be a link? Can it be something as simple as our email or something?
Okay, now most times is it goes to a back end page, like it goes to a back end yeah, page that processes the data. Like, cause yeah, in the back end guys, they do the underground work, right?
Okay.
So they are the ones to find a way, or they are the one to send those this thing. In fact, they communicate with the server directly, right? So when you send to them, they receive the data and then process it, either send it to the server or do whatever they want it to be to do, right? So most times we send it to a back-end file or page. Normally comes with .php. Yeah, the file name with .php. So the PHP now is a programming language used for back-end, right? So yeah, you process those data with those files. So I didn't put the action in our own because yeah, we are not sending it out now.
Okay. And when I was doing the forms assignment, the radio tag, I noticed that the checkbox, you could click and unclick it, but the radio, you couldn't click and unclick.
Yes,
Same
by default, the radio button you cannot unclick. It's only when you choose another one, right? That is linked. Then the other one on clicks. But by default, when you click it, you cannot unclick it. It's only the checkbox.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. You're welcome. Please, is there any other question or clarification? Is there any other question or clarification? Clinton, I hope you got the screenshots.
Your voice is too low. Come closer to your mic.
Okay, hello. There's a question I want to ask on this last part.
Oh, okay, Clinton, okay.
For the between,
So yeah, I think our class is yeah, the time has elapsed long ago, but I'm glad we could come up with this. I'm glad we could come up with this. At least we used most of the properties, right? Most of the properties we'll be using later on to finish up the portfolio site. We use it here, so we are going to repeat it, like some of them or most of them. Yeah, we just change the values and apply it differently, right? So that's why I have explained most of the properties we used here. So whenever you are using it again, it will not look foreign to you, right? So what you can do is to go through the code and study them, right? And modify the values so that you see the result on your browser, so that you understand more the effects and how to use them and where to use them too. Because that's the most important thing. Knowing where to use them, when to use them, and how to use them, right? Okay, the position now is when we use positioning, you kind of when you position an element, either absolute, relative, fixed, sticky, or this or static, right? Is a method how the element will be positioned, right? The method. Now, static is the default position of every element, right? Static is the default. Now, relative now is positioning it relative to the parent div. The parent div. Now, relative positioning now takes it out of let me see. So when you position it relative here, it goes with this it has the four corners, the top, bottom, left, and right. It could have bottom. It could have right. So now this position is the method I want to position it. Now I'll be using this property, right, to push it anywhere I want it to be. Either I should push it to the left or push it to the right, or make it to be at the edge of the very top, right? Or push it to the bottom or to the top. So that's what this one is using, the positioning. This is the method we want to position it. And this is the actual way of positioning it, right? So the relative now is, let me see if I can, okay. So yeah, now this one is sticky now. So I want the position to be, the method to be sticky. Now, what do I mean by sticky? When I scroll down, this should be, okay, it should be in div 1. The div 1 is the one that has the red border. Okay. So now sticky is a combination of relative and fixed. Now sticky is when it hits the very viewport where it is, it will be fixed, right? It will stick to that place. Once it hits that viewport, it will stick or it will be fixed, right? You can see others are scrolling while if you still scroll up, it will join the others. Or if you scroll down and it touches the viewport, it will be sticky or it will stick, right? So then absolute is when you use absolutes. Okay. Now, absolute, you can see this div 3 used to be under the div 2, right? But if I change the position mode of absolute, it removes it from the normal flow. The normal flow, like this is the normal flow now, stacking this div stacking under each other, right? So I'm now removing it from the normal flow and the space is being closed, right? So I can now use the positions, the left, right, bottom, to move it around and put it wherever I want it to be, right? I can make it shift out. Let me say 500. You can see where it is now, right? But in relative now, the space where it came out from will still be returned. This is the space, sorry, it will still be returned. So that's the difference between relative and absolute. Absolute gives you the absolute control of that element. You can position it anywhere you want in your web page, right? So, but relative keeps the space. In absolute positioned elements, the space is being closed out. So it's as if the element was not even there initially, right? So that's how it does. So I think yeah, that should be the end of the class today. So thanks for your time. So whichever question again, whatever it is again, always I'm still confused. I'm still confused. You can always drop a message in the Slack channel, right? You can drop a message in the Slack channel. So any further question or clarification? Now, again, for the assignment, I said we talked about overflow, right? We talked about overflow. And I said in my own web page, and yeah, I think it's happening in your own web page too. I'm having this scroll bar at the bottom of the screen, right? I'm having this overflow here, right? Having this overflow here. So the assignment is for you to remove this overflow. You should remove the overflow so that this scroll button will disappear and this space here, this overflow here will no longer be there, right? If you remove the overflow properly, we will not have this white space and this scroll bar will not be here too. We will only have this scroll bar by the right, okay? So it's now left for you to find out at the appropriate place to add the overflow property for you to achieve the results. I hope the assignment is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, please indicate if you got the assignment. Yeah, Victor, I hope the assignment is clear now. Okay, that's great. Victor, can you hear me? Okay. Okay. So goodness, I don't know if you're still there. Is there any other thing you need to?
No, there is nothing else. Mr. Mosh, thank you so much. We really appreciate you for this class. Like, I'm so happy and excited that, yeah, we are all following and you're breaking everything to the tiniest details. Thank you so much. And guys, let's do the assignment. I'll provide the link for the submission of this last assignment. Please, let's do the assignment. It's very important. And if you've done anything at all, you can screenshot and send to the group, to the Slack channel so that we'll see what you've done and probably promote it on the social media. So one thing we need to do is we need visibility. So anything you are doing, you should be showing yourself, you should be putting yourself out there so that people know you are doing this and people are seeing your progress. I don't know if you understand. So guys, please, if you've done anything, you can post it on the Slack channel. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining today's call. See you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be your evening. Yeah, guys, bye.
All right, thank you all. I really appreciate the level of commitment, okay? see you guys yeah, in the Slack channel and in the next class.
Bye, Mosh.